What's going on, Rob Mob, coming at you with another video. Now this one is very, very easy to slip up on and make some silly mistakes. So once again, we want to make sure we are paying very close attention to exactly what the problem is asking us for and that we are labeling everything properly. So let's get started. Diane is at a farmer's market. She buys apples and oranges. She buys 12 apples at 50 cents each. Oranges are discounted 10 cents each. Now keep in mind, this is discounted 10 cents each. They don't cost 10 cents each, so make sure you're paying attention to the reading here. So she buys 20. She spends $20 total on both apples and oranges. Great. Write an equation in factored form. Remember what factored form means, and make sure you're paying attention if you don't know what factored form means so we can make sure we learn it together to represent this situation. Make sure to label each part of your equation and what is the original price of one orange. Great. So I'm going to do what I do with every problem. I'm going to start off by labeling my x. In this case, x is the original cost of one orange. Great. So now that we have that squared away, the original cost of one orange, let's get this started. So we're going to write an equation, but we want it to be in factored form. So we know that our total amount spent on both apples and oranges is going to be $20. But how much do we spend on apples? We have 12 apples that we purchased, and each of them was 50 cents, right? So we have, let's just put parentheses so it's a little easier to see. We have 12 apples, each of them costing 50 cents. And now I wrote it here on purpose, and I want to make sure that we keep this in mind. This is factored form. We all know that 12 times 0.5, or 50 cents, is going to be 6. We all know that, but I specified I wanted it in factored form. This is expanded form. So I want to leave them as two numbers being multiplied together. Great. So that covers our apples. What about our oranges? So we know that she purchased 20 oranges. Keep in mind we're adding these together because that is going to get us our total cost. So we bought 20 oranges. Now what is happening to the price of the orange? One orange costs X, but she's not paying X. She is paying 10 cents less than X. Now that is a very important distinction to make. Our X is defined as the original cost of one orange, but that is not what we are looking for here. This entire section here is not the cost of one orange, it is the cost of a discounted orange. So that is a very, very important distinction to make, and that is very important for how we solve our problem. Great, so now we're all set with this. This is our first side of the equation, adding up all the fruits. That is going to get us to $20. All right, so now it's pretty straightforward. That's our equation. So now we can start breaking this down to begin to solve. So now we have to expand our factored form if we want to begin solving. So as we solved up here before, 12 times 0.5 is going to get me 6. And now I have plus 20 times x, that is going to give me 20x. And then 20 times a negative 0.1 is going to equal a negative 2. Very important that we make sure we are distributing that negative. And that is all going to equal $20 over here. Great. So now we do 6 over here. We have a positive 6 and a negative 2. So we have to do the opposite signs to get this x by itself. So we have to we have to subtract 6 because this is positive. And then we have to add 2. And whenever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So now we are going to subtract 6, but add 2. And as we can see here, this is going to be a negative 4. So 20 minus 4 is going to equal 16. And then what we have left on this side is 20x equals 16. Now for our final step, we can get this x by itself. We do that by dividing by 20, the opposite of multiplication. So dividing by 20 on both sides. And what we're left with here is x equals 16 over 20, which is going to get us 80 cents per orange. And now as a little bonus, what if we wanted to know how much Diane paid for each orange? We know that the original cost was 80 cents, and we know that x minus 0.10, that equals our discounted price. So to find that out, if we simply put 80 cents into this equation minus 0.10, that means that she paid 70 cents amount paid per orange. And there you have it.